Yo, what is going on? Welcome back to the Boys Are Back in Town podcast. My name is Dustin. I'm here with my co-host.
Hey guys, it's Brett. So we're gonna talk about this massive fantasy week we just had. The scores were outrageous.
Oh yeah, for sure. I seen like the perfect lineup was like 250 some points, dude.
I scored like 205,
Oh,
so
I know. You were pretty close to the perfect week.
it was pretty good. It was a good week. But
I had to go
Pollard
back
had a
to
good
that and
week.
take a look.
Yeah, but Tony Pollard had a good week. But Jerry Jones comes out and says Zeke will still be the starter going forward. What are your thoughts on that?
I think you pay a guy big money and he's a big jersey seller, a big focal point of Dallas Cowboy football. That's just a business move, man. Tony Pollard, we already discussed the Zeke slash Tony Pollard 1-2 punch. I think Tony Pollard's more explosive, is probably the better receiving back. But yeah, Zeke is just a number one. He's, like I said, he's going to give you 3 to 4 yards every single run. It makes sense to give him the starting role.
Yeah, for sure. What? So did you see the whole DJ Moore and the celebration? He took his helmet off,
Yep,
and
watched it. I watched
yeah,
it
and
live because I had the
I,
Falcons in a parlay. Yeah, he took his helmet off after the touchdown, which
I mean,
it's unsportsmanlike. That's the penalty, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it if anything, it didn't really fuck the field. Like honestly, it's a 40-yarder. You should be able to nail that. I know it's only for one, but it shouldn't have been a problem.
yeah, I just really don't. I mean, yeah, at some point you just gotta let him play, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't agree with it. I mean, like, yeah, you literally just made a last second touchdown catch.
I mean, PJ Walker. I mean, that's the best throw of the year so far.
Oh, it was a dime, dude. And I was like, dude, no shot. I mean, because that play alone busted the Falcons spread for me. So like I was like man, I drafted DJ Moore into a couple DraftKings lineups. So like yeah, I was stoked, but it was also like, damn, that sucks. But yeah, I mean, that as much as like I just want the refs like in the last 2 minutes of the game, bro, just let them play. Just let them play.
Yeah.
There's penalties going
So,
down on both ends, so let them play.
yeah. Trade deadline Tuesday. What do you think about Chase Edmonds going to the Broncos?
I like Chase Edmonds on the Broncos better than I like Hines to the Bills or Claypool to the Bears. We'll get down to those later. I think he's gonna make the most impact like day one. I think that the Broncos needed a run game. Not saying that Melvin Gordon's bad. He's not he's kind of a shell of what he was. I don't know why, but he is. So it's kind of my thoughts on that one.
And what do you think about Hines to the Bills? I mean,
I as much as I like Hines, I feel like Hines is he's like Singletary. They're it's not like they upgraded massively and got like a RB1. They got depth.
yeah, I think
They
they just
have
got
three
some better
guys that are
passing down
the
backs.
same level of talent, in my opinion, and Zach Moss, Devin
Well,
Singletary.
Zach Moss was in that trade
Where'd he go?
to the Colts.
Okay, see, I actually kind of like Zach Moss to the Colts then, but shit, who else is on that roster? Oh, James Cook, not James
Yeah,
Cook.
James
They
Cook.
have Cook. Yeah. So like they have like three guys that like could like feasibly be a RB2, but I don't see why they made that move. I mean, it
Yeah,
makes
and
sense for
then
the Colts. The Colts got a deal out of it. I mean,
yeah,
do you think it affects Marlon Mack's fantasy value? Do you think he gets any more touches?
for the Colts.
Yeah.
Now Max, like he now plays for. Yeah, Mac went to the Dolphins, then he went to the Texans, and then he got cut there.
Oh, is he just
Now he's
bouncing
on.
around? I had no idea,
Oh yeah,
honestly. I just knew that he was an
he's actually
RB3.
I think he's on the Broncos practice squad now.
That makes sense. I mean, he's been bouncing
Yeah.
around, but I was like, yeah, maybe. But Shows how much I know. I think the
Eh,
biggest trade for the Broncos was Bradley Chubb to the Dolphins.
Dolphins, yeah, that was a big deal.
I know they were just swapping players for some reason. Like they like it seemed like they just swapped half rosters basically, like just swapped
Yeah.
teams. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Dolphins are gonna come out insane.
Yeah.
It
What
also
do you think
helps with
about Claypool to the Bears?
see, I don't particularly think that's gonna be. I don't think Claypool's value is gonna go up. We can
No.
get to it in our waivers. I think
Okay.
Claypool going to the Bears only helps Mooney
And Fields.
and Fields. Yeah, just giving them
Yeah.
more weapons.
Gives
But
them a big body target.
yeah, but it makes Mooney be able to go back to the slot where he wants to play and just be a deep threat.
What do you think the worst thing out of the Hawkinson to the Vikings is?
It's hard to say what's worse because I mean Hawk's getting a better quarterback in Kirk Cousins. Jared Goff now has who does he have to throw to? I just don't understand what. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
at tight end he has his receivers,
No,
but
yeah, but I don't
what
know
is
who
the
the tight
point?
end is.
What
He's
was the? I don't understand why you trade
a
away.
young tight end on his rookie contract. It's really confusing.
And he's a top five tight end in the league. I
He's
don't see it. I know that they're 1-6 and want some picks, but dude, you're it's not like you're losing these games by huge margins. You're losing in fourth quarter. Like the Lions could feasibly 4-2, maybe three and
yes.
three. Like they could. And it's I think they panicked. I don't know. It doesn't
And
seem like a
then
good move to me, especially seeing how the
uh,
offense was like the top
it was
offense
number
in the
one.
league.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a while. Just doesn't add up, man.
And then I got Calvin Ridley to the Jaguars.
Um,
What that didn't make a lot of sense.
oh my God, I am so mad that the Giants didn't pull the trigger on that. If he was only worth like a second round pick,
I don't know. No, no. It was like they got like a fifth
I
compensational.
know it was super low value. I'm like, dude, didn't like he's literally a top 10, maybe 15 receiver whenever
Yeah.
he's on the field.
Jags are like I thought they were pretty stupid for overpaying Zay Jones. Clearly,
Oh yeah, I was
overpaying.
dumb.
Yeah,
Kirk is panned
overpaid Zay
out,
Jones. Overpaid Christian Kirk.
but it's panned out. But this is like basically getting a fifth rounder in Calvin Ridley. Like I just don't understand. I mean maybe they know the Falcons know something we don't. Maybe he wasn't healthy. Maybe he hasn't looked the same because he can still probably do some workouts. I'm assuming. I'm assuming he's not just suspended from the locker room and shit. You know.
No, no. I think when they get suspended, they're suspended from like the everything.
No, I know, but like they probably still have insight of like what he's doing, like working out wise,
Yeah, I'm sure
like
they
with
have something.
trainers and shit. So like I'm sure they still have an inside drop, but like there's I just don't see him whenever he does come back. The Jags wide receiver core is going to be insane
Yeah, for sure.
because
Last one,
yeah.
Jeff Wilson to the Dolphins.
Okay. So I don't think this actually helps Jeff Wilson out. Which I knew that they were probably going to move him after the CMC trade. We
Yeah,
talked about
yeah.
it a little bit. I figured
I've
he
got a
was
little bit
gone.
in the waiver that we can talk about Jeff Wilson.
I
I'm
have
on the
something in
opposite
the
side of you.
waiver too. Actually, it's probably not in the waiver. It's more in the starts because he's like probably like 60 to 70% owned. So, but I think uh, Edmonds going away helps out the Dolphins running backs right now, especially Raheem Mostert. So we'll get into that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But I don't think Jeff Wilson be that big of an impact.
yeah.
But I do think
But
he's
it's
a
gonna
waiver wire
be
pickup.
a really rough week of buys. Um, there's 6 teams on buy. That's the Browns, the Cowboys, the Broncos, the Giants, the Steelers, and the 49ers.
Yeah.
And I did some math, and that's 9 to 10 startable running backs on buys.
Two,
I
one,
mean,
two. That's
Browns is 2,
four.
Cowboys is
Bronco.
2, that's
Yep.
4. Yeah,
Broncos one
Broncos
for
is
sure.
2.
Maybe
Well,
two.
2. Last week, I'm playing against a guy this week, and Broncos are on the buys. But last week I looked at his score. Both Broncos running backs scored 12 plus.
Yeah, that's startable.
Yeah, Yeah, and then Steelers is
Najee
1, and
Harris, and
Niners is
then
1 or 2.
one or two. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
just like,
lot of
yeah,
running backs.
yeah, and it's just that's rough, and I'm glad I'm not having trouble.
Oh man, no kidding. Like I have three running backs on my bench, so I mean it's a good look for me. But I am having to start Miles Sanders and David Montgomery, so it's not that great of a look.
Um, but yeah, not good. But we can go ahead and get into the waiver wire pickups for the week. I mean, I know waivers are already ran and everything, but some of these guys could still be on the
Yeah,
um
I'm looking at the top people available in our league, which is a very competitive league. As
very
soon as news
gosh.
breaks, people get picked up. So if these
Yeah.
guys are on our waiver wire, they're probably still on yours. Um, Kenyon Drake, if you need a running back, you don't have depth. I still think you gotta maybe give him a spot start this week because he'll literally either give you a half point or he's gonna give you 20. If you're wanting to take a gamble, I think he's still a good waiver wire pickup.
I'm just so scared of it being another trap game. Comes out, scores like 17. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, Kenyon Drake's the guy.
Yeah.
He's the starter." And then boom, half a point.
Well, here's the deal. What gives me hope is that he got 16 last week after being the he's the clear number two right now. But they're talking about him being the starter, but that's whatever. It's just news. We see how that goes. He did it on 7 rush attempts, 16 points on 7 rush attempts and 4 receptions. So he's very boom or bust. But if anything does end up happening, Gus Edwards, he's there. But I still think he's a spot start. I think he can make it happen on limited touches. He's pretty explosive, dude. Especially with the Ravens offense being kind of powered right now.
Yeah. My favorite number one waiver wire pickup is Josh Palmer. He was out the week before last with a concussion, and then last week they had a bye week, so I'm sure he's healthy now. Mike Williams is out for at least 4 weeks,
Yeah.
and Keenan Allen come out today and said that he hurt his hammy again. So
So
I
it's
mean, he's number two if Keenan Allen's healthy. He's the number one if Keenan Allen's not healthy. Like
yeah.
he'll
I
be
mean,
behind. He'll
I
be behind
think
Austin Eckler and Gerald Everett, and he'll be the number three guy in
number
the whole
three,
offense.
yeah, right down the hole. Yeah, I like that pickup as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Justin Herbert was really big on Palmer before the season started. He said that he's the sleeper guy, so maybe he has a lot of trust in him. So we'll see.
and then I got another one. Just that it's if you're needing a tight end. Isaiah Likely played really well this last week.
Yeah,
Uh, and Andrews was gone. He was hurt. He got hurt right in the beginning, I think. And if he misses this week, I think Likely is a must start.
yeah, I have him as a waiver wire and also as a start. If it's not looking good for Andrews, he's still trending down. He may give a spot start on Sunday, but who knows? He started in that Thursday night game, went out in the first quarter, and likely still popped off. So I think likely is probably definitely a good pickup and a start until Andrews is completely healthy.
Yes.
Because even if Mark Andrews is out there, they'll probably still be running double tight stuff and just using Mark Andrews as like a decoy. Because he didn't look healthy whenever he got those 5 touches early. He didn't look good. And yeah, I just checked up. He's still questionable as whether he's even going to be practicing. Mine, I like this. Went over through it a little bit with the Claypool trade. I think you grab Darnell Mooney now. He's 56% rostered. Of course, he's grabbed in our league just because that. Why wouldn't he be?
He was drafted and never
Yeah,
dropped.
so he's held down, but I think this trade literally just boosts his value so much because he's not a number one. He's never needed to play at that number one. He needs a big body guy to go out there and just take away the lockdown corner off of him.
Yeah, like Allen Robinson.
Yeah, and Darnell Mooney had boomer bust games with Allen Robinson, so I think he's still a boomer bust threat, but having the boom instead of just the bust is really good news for Darnell Mooney.
Yep. I got Jeff Wilson.
I also
Um,
have Jeff Wilson. I don't
yeah.
like him as a start, but I
No, no,
do
not at
think he
all.
needs to
Not
be
he's not a start.
rostered.
Honestly, he's not a start until Mostert is hurt.
Yeah,
which
I think
Mostert's I
Mostert's
think
number
finished
one.
one full season in his career. Um,
Well,
but
he's only
he's
played
a
like 4
Mostert
years.
injury. Yeah, a Mostert injury could be. I mean, Jeff Wilson, top running back in a lethal offense.
Yeah. I mean, well, we've seen it with the Dolphins offense. Whenever they start throwing the ball and Tua is rolling them, they just hand the ball off, and the defense seems like they're on their heels. So any running back in there, I mean, we tend to not say Jeff Wilson, but I think Jeff Wilson goes from an offense that made him look good to an offense that can make him look even better. So I mean, I don't hate Jeff Wilson. I just don't think he's the most talented. But if you go from good offense to good offense, you're gonna be good.
Yeah, exactly.
I
That's
got
on my
another
waiver
tight end
wires.
pickup for you, Conklin. I don't know why.
Again.
We talked about him early in the season, then he had really bad weeks. And then last week, he goes crazy. Like, who sees this shit coming? But I think he's a good pickup because he is 20% rostered. But last week, he gets 10 targets, 6 receptions, 79 yards, and 2 tutties. So is it clear to say that Zach Wilson hates his receivers and only likes tight end? Maybe. Because Eli Moore wants out.
Yes, that's true.
He's already putting his cleats in the bag, and he doesn't even care. But yeah, I think Conklin is probably my number one after likely to pick up on tight ends this week.
Nice.
Nice. Do you have any more waivers?
Nope, that's all for me.
Okay. Also, I'm streaming defenses right now, as probably most
Yeah.
of you guys are. But the defense I like this week is the Dolphins. They're still probably on waiver wires. You got to grab them now because I mean that defense just got a huge piece in Bradley Chubb, and I think they just get him in there and let him go crazy right away. So I think he's the play. Dolphins defense. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay.
We can get on to some starts. Start Dolphins defense, clearly start the Vikings defense. But quarterback, Justin Fields, baby. Four straight top 12 finishes. Second in QB rushing yards behind Lamar. And they're playing Miami. I mean, Miami's been giving it up, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little contradictory to what I said. The reason why I am starting the Dolphins defense because I think they're going to be able to get the Fields probably about 6 or 7 times.
Well, and they can keep them low scoring. They can, get the sacks. Terrible offensive line.
Yeah,
They can probably force turnovers on Justin Fields. But when you're starting a quarterback, you don't care if he throws two or three interceptions.
that's
That's what,
true. That
2 or 3 points,
Yeah, three
like
points down,
minus. Like,
depending
who
on
cares?
some people even play like half a point on turnovers. So
Yeah,
yeah,
like, I mean, really, who cares when he has 100 rushing yards? That's 10 points without the passing, without touchdowns.
it's very true. Well, in the beginning of the season, like I think I read like first like 5 weeks he was top, like the 31st ranked fantasy football quarterback, and then in the last
Oh
four
yeah, they
weeks
were
he's been like
terrible.
top two, top three
Yeah,
in
yeah.
points. Just, I mean that's numbers don't lie. So yeah,
No,
I think Justin Fields is also a start. My first start, we covered it a little bit. I like Raheem Mostert this week to start. Jeff Wilson will be a non-factor. We talk about it all the time in running back trades. They got to learn the offense before they get any touches, so they'll be very limited. So I think Raheem Mostert gets 90% of the snaps this week. So great start in my opinion.
yeah, for sure. Tyler Algier. Chargers are allowing 29.2 fantasy points per game to running backs this season, and Algier has 30 rushes in the last 2 weeks. So the Falcons are just trying to run the ball, keep the ball out of other quarterbacks' hands, just waste all the clock. They're running him and Caleb Huntley, I think's his name.
Yeah, Huntley.
Yeah. So I mean, I like Algier this week. I'm not gonna be starting him because I don't have him, but
I like Algier. I have him in our dynasty league. My only problem with Algier is that Huntley seems to get every single touch inside the red zone. I think it's maybe because he's a bigger back, but
yeah, but
every time I'm seeing the Falcons in the red zone, Huntley is leading the charge along with Mariota, who also has wheels and
but
likes to
thankfully
run it
about
in.
Algiers, he gets the passing down work.
Yeah, I mean he didn't have a bad week at all. He had a really good week, so it's okay. I mean Algier is a great start. I have another start for you with Hawkinson gone. The Sun God is coming back. I had him on the bench last week just for concussion protocol reasons. He came out, still had a pretty decent week. I think he had 12, 13 points. I think with Hawk gone, there's only one guy to throw to, and it's going to be Big Daddy Sun God, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Monra.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I like it.
Thanks, man.
Um, I've got Tyler Boyd. I mean, bad week last week for any Bengals. But I think the Bengals will bounce back big time. And Jamar Chase can be out for a little while, so I think it's time to just throw Boyd in your lineups and not worry about it.
Yeah, I like Boyd and Higgins as long as Jamar Chase is out. Higgins
Well,
a
either way,
little less in
Higgins
the
is a
targets.
start.
Yeah, well, Higgins is a little less of a 10 target guy, and but he has the 50-yard touchdown potential every time he gets a snap. So,
Yes.
and he did it in garbage time, which completely saved Higgins owners last week. Thank God. I mean, yeah, it was not looking good for the Bengals offense, and then heaved up like a 41-yard touchdown or something. So it's always a good look to start Higgins on the boomer bus. Keeping on with the Bengals, I like Hayden Hurst this week.
Yeah.
He's not going to give you 10. He might. I think he's going to give you 8 or 9. But with everyone hurting this week in tight ends, I think he's a start and he's still 67% rostered, so you might be able to find him on the waiver wire if you need a tight end. Because
Yeah,
he
I
did
think
get, I
he
mean,
I
he
think
only
he
got 4 targets last week, but he caught all 4 of them. So, I mean,
yeah, didn't have a great game, but not a terrible game.
well, it's hard to have a good game whenever the offense in total only scores, less than 20. So,
Yeah. But yeah, I mentioned to start Greg Dulcich last week and ended up being a good start. And Waller owners ended up not being with Waller, and I'm not a big Foster Moreau guy with how the Raiders have been playing. And a guy asked me, he said, "Man, I've been listening to your podcast, and I didn't listen to your Dulcich play when Waller's out.
yep.
You know, who should I start?" And I was like, "Man, the only guy left that you can probably start is Hurst."
Yeah.
And it was a bum play, but at least it was 8 points.
Also asked me if he should start Foster Moreau. I said no way. Then he asked, and I said Hunter Henry was probably the better start, and he told me your take as well, and I was like, that's not a bad call. But Hunter Henry, good call on that. He only scored 3 points, so yeah, Hunter Henry stays as the sit again. So
um,
yeah,
but if y'all are needing tight ends this week, Evan Ingram.
yup. He
That's my start of the week. I'm starting him in any of my leagues that I have bye weeks, like Cowboys Dalton Schultz, who I have in every league. Um, he's got at least 6 targets in the last 4 games. And the Raiders have allowed the third most fantasy points per game to tight ends so far at 16.2 fantasy points per game.
yeah. Evan Ingram, I've been in a love-hate relationship with this guy since he was drafted. Giants alum. He's so talented, dude, and it shows in like 1 out of every 3 games. But he's looking like a pretty favorite target for Trevor Lawrence, and like you said, I mean he's a pretty good start this week, so I agree. That's
Um,
my last.
that's all my
Hurst was
starts
my
as
last
well.
start. I got a sit. I only have one sit, but mainly because there's not really a lot of people to sit this week. It's not a great
Yeah.
look. Everybody that probably should be sitting is already on the bench, but I don't like the Brian Robinson Jr. hype that I'm hearing.
Nope, nope, it's not good.
It's not a good look, man. I think he's a
Antonio
sit.
Gibson started last week.
Yeah. He, I mean, he was a good pickup. You got to pick him up, but they gave him a chance, and he's not making the most of it. So
No, he's just
he's
that in
on the
between the
bench.
tackles runner.
Yup.
I got a few sits this week. I'll just go through them. Matt Stafford, if you're hurting at running backs, lots of running backs on buys this week, or without Jacoby Brissett, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, Daniel Jones, Kenny Pickett, Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, not a lot of high caliber starters there, but that's a lot of guys.
Yeah.
But I don't suggest sitting or playing Stafford. Hasn't looked good all year. I think last week he scored the most points, maybe other than 1 week
Yep, I
for
had
the
to give him a
year.
spot start last week, and
Yeah,
he gave me
yeah,
right
it was
under
good. It was good.
18. So I was like,
Yeah,
dude, I'm not mad. I'll
and
take right under 18.
he might be without Cooper Cup.
Yeah, seeing that, it's not a good look. God, that's I don't know why he was in the
He
game.
was in the game.
Why
There
is
was
he in the
garbage
game,
time.
man? Like, at least what I like about basketball is, man, if they're down 20 in the fourth, they put the fucking third stringers in, man. There is
Give
not
him the
even a second.
work.
Anybody that mainly gets minutes, they're out of the ball game. There's
Yeah,
no reason to have a superstar in that play at that time. No way. I don't see
yeah.
it.
I think you need to be sitting Daryl Henderson or Cam Akers, whichever you have, or if you have both. This is a massive committee. And who the hell is Ronnie Rivers?
Who the hell is Ronnie Rivers? That's right, dude. If anybody knows, leave him in the
Yeah.
comments. I have no idea who this guy is,
So I
but
did see something there last week. Michael Berry was talking about go pick up this kid, Ronnie Rivers. He is going to go off this week for the Rams. And I'm like, I don't even know who you're talking about. Like, are we talking 10 years in the future? Like, blah. And then all of a sudden, boom, Ronnie Rivers leading back for the Rams, which I don't think is going to help this week because they didn't trade Cam and they turned down multiple trade offers. And apparently they want him to play for them.
yeah, I mean, I literally never heard the name until Sunday. I don't know what happened, but yeah, sure, dude. I'll take your word for it.
But I'd avoid any Rams running backs right now until that backfield's a little more clear. Also need to be sitting Isaiah McKenzie for the Bills. He is splitting the slot work with Khalil Shakir, the rookie. And the Jets have a really strong secondary. I mean, they're good.
Yeah, the Jets defense is one of the top defenses in the league, no doubt. They're keeping the Jets in every single ball game that they're in. Lost a squeaker to the Patriots last week, which I did call. I called the Patriots would win it. But man, you got to root for the Jets. If the Jets could get something going on offense, man, they'd be so good. They would be so good. But yeah, the all the picks that they had in the draft this year are definitely showing out on defense.
Yeah. And then I think this week TJ Hawkinson's a sit. Not a
Yeah, let
lot of
them run
tight
the
ends I'm willing
offense.
to sit right now, but he just got traded yesterday, which was Tuesday. And he's gonna play because they're not gonna, just make him sit. But I don't think he'll get a lot of work. And the Commanders have actually been really good against tight ends. They allow the least amount of fantasy points per game at 6.5 fantasy points per game to a tight end group as a team, not just one guy, a group.
That's pretty
Six and a
solid.
half points. Yeah, I
Wow.
mean,
I mean, that's you see it in the
leading the
because
NFL.
Commanders are in the games most of the time when they're playing. They haven't really got blown out too much. There's a couple games where they got kind of waxed, but I mean, they're they're
It's a
they're holding
strong
their
D
own.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're holding their own for being the bottom team in the NFC, but they would be leading three of the four divisions at 4-4. Are we going to talk about how bad the NFC is right now?
I know.
The NFC is bad. Like I think the NFC East has four teams in the playoffs this year.
I don't know about four. Three
Eh,
for sure. If the
four is looking
As
good,
long as the
man.
Giants can keep doing what they're doing.
Oh, I mean, I think we'll be fine. We just came out flat. I'm not really too worried about it. I mean, after the bye
Yeah,
week, we'll see what happens.
yeah, for
Yep,
sure.
sure, man.
That's all my sits. You want to get into some game picks for the week?
Yep. So we can wrap up last week.
Ugh.
I came out hot. I called most of the games. I went 12-3 last week.
I went 7
12-3.
and 8.
Yeah.
All my 50-50 picks went wrong. Literally every single one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I had the same 50-50 picks, so I mean, we just went different ways. But yeah,
Yep, yep.
I am 49-26 on the season, and Brett is 41-34. So both still way above 50, 500. So yeah, I would still take these very, very to heart because we're calling these out as we see them. So First game I have on the slate is the Eagles versus
The
the
Texans.
Texans on Thursday Night Football. Wow, that is just going to be a hard one to watch. I don't think I'll be watching too much of it.
I'm just
I
gonna
have
watch the
the
Eagles
Eagles.
dominate. Yeah, Eagles are gonna kill the Texans. Poor guys. My next game on the slate, Bills and Jets. Who you got?
I have the Bills. I know you're hyping up the Jets defense just a second ago. It's always nice to
Yeah,
think
well, it don't
about. The
matter.
Bills are the
It don't
Bills.
matter.
The
Yeah,
Bills are
it
the
doesn't
best
matter.
team in the league. I don't care. I told you
Yeah,
last
by
week they were
far.
gonna mollywop the Packers. They came out, they just absolutely spanked them. So it's not even gonna be close. I think that one's a blowout game.
Um, my next game on the slate, Vikings and Commanders.
This one actually might be a sneaky fun one. I still have the Vikings, but I
Yep.
think the Commanders put up a fight.
I also agree with that. I think the Vikings will end up winning it because they're the Vikings. They're a much better team.
Yeah, they're a
But the
better
Commanders
team.
have been just in every game, like you said earlier, and strong defense, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, they're scrappy, man. They're fighting to win games. They're winning games by 1, 2 points, kind of just like the Giants are. So, I mean, not talented on the roster, but they if the Commanders are in the fourth quarter, they're in it, man. They have a chance to win the game. So, next game up for
Go ahead.
me, I have Chargers Falcons. I might have a surprise for you here. Who do you got?
Don't tell me you're taking the Falcons.
I'm taking the
No.
Mariota Falcons, man. I've taken 3 weeks in a row, man. I think they
Oh
stay
no.
hot, man.
Oh
I
no.
got the Falcons here, especially with the
It's
Chargers hurting at receiver.
no, it's their turn to lose. It's or Chargers will win that game.
I don't know, man. We'll see how it goes. I hate to be this spread this early, but yeah,
Ugh.
I
Yuck.
got the Falcons, man.
All right, Dolphins and Bears. Who you got?
We can come back to earth a little bit. I got the Dolphins.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
think they I think they
Yeah,
smacked the Bears.
yeah. It's not gonna
Bengals
be pretty.
Panthers. Let's see what you think about that one.
I'm taking the Bengals.
Oh, man, you wanted to say the Panthers because I kind of wanted to say the Panthers.
I
Man,
don't believe in much.
how good are the Browns then? Are the Browns that good to whoop the Bengals' ass like that, or did
I
they
think the
just catch a
Bengals just
fluke?
yeah, I think the Bengals just caught a fluke. The Bengals are going to beat the Panthers and probably cover the spread of whatever it is.
Yeah, the spread is 7.5 points. I don't
Yeah,
agree
I
on the
think they get it.
spread. I think the Panthers stay in it, but yeah, the Bengals win that game. And I'm taking the under 42 points because
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah, I
That
don't think
game's going to be
yeah.
17-10.
Lions and
Mark
Packers.
it 17-10, by the way.
Lions
Lions
and
and the
Packers.
Packers. I got one for you here. You tell me what you got first, and I'll tell you mine.
I am taking the Lions.
I'm also taking the Lions.
Yeah.
I don't like the Packers right now.
No, not
I
at
don't
all.
think the
I think
Packers can do
they
anything,
stink.
man.
They didn't trade for a damn receiver. I don't know. Romeo Dobbs is way too inconsistent.
Yo,
Alan Lazard's hurt all the time. Sammy Watkins is 40. I don't
yo,
know what they want. Aaron, I think they're just doing it in spite of Aaron Rodgers now.
yeah. I think I don't know if they're doing it in spite of Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers is pissed. I don't think he even comes out and gives an attempt for the rest of the year until they show that they give a shit about him. But yeah,
Yeah.
I got the Lions here. Especially seeing how
Uh,
they literally, oh man, they should have beat the Dolphins last week. I don't, they choked so hard. They were putting it down on the Dolphins, man.
okay.
Next game, Colts Patriots. You rolling with Sam Ellinger still or what?
No, I gotta go Pats.
Yep, Pat's they're just a better coach team in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
They're
The
disciplined.
Colts are in a shitter right now, and it's just not good.
Jonathan Taylor is the biggest bust of fantasy football. Your opinion on
Uh,
that?
oh, what? Sorry, I missed that. What
Jonathan
you said.
Taylor is the biggest number one pick bust
Well, I mean,
consensus number one pick bust of all time.
no, because multiple have been hurt
Not talking
and
about
not
injury,
played.
about being basically healthy scratches.
I mean, yeah, this is crazy. I mean, he was the consensus number one pick. I'm glad I didn't get any first round pick or number one picks because I would have picked him because
Yeah,
that's who you take. Jonathan Taylor was the best running back in football last year, and he was supposed to be the best running back in football this
I'm
year,
glad he didn't fall to me
and
at
they
3.
weren't using him, and then he got hurt. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
McCaffrey is the number one overall pick.
I don't know about that.
I'm
I guess
glad
Saquon
got
died.
Eckler at 6. I got Eckler at 6, and
So,
I'm pretty sure he's the number one scoring running back in the league right now.
oh yeah, Eckler's a beast. Eckler is a
Yeah,
fantasy winner for most people right now.
yeah.
Yeah, so we're both going Pats.
Oh yeah, 100%. Raiders Jags.
Um, this one might also be a curveball. I'm going Jags.
I'm going Raiders.
I I don't know, man. I think the Jags can fight and stay in most games. They lost a
I think
squeaker
so.
last week
I there's just something
in
about the
London.
Jags. They can't win the games.
That is
It's
true.
like they
They're
produce,
always
they produce, they
marching.
produce, and then they just don't win. Like I don't know why. And I think the Raiders are going to have a big bounce back game after that just shit show. The Saints had the 31st worst scoring defense in the league and shut out the Raiders. The Raiders high-powered offense with Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams.
Yeah. I mean, I
That
told
doesn't
you.
happen.
I told you what was gonna happen.
Hmm.
I called the Saints winning that game. I actually said it was gonna be a squeaker, and they came out and just absolutely blew them out.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
wrong, but I was way right. So well, I guess I got it.
Yeah. Cardinals and Seahawks division game.
I'm taking the Seahawks.
Nah, you just taking Seahawks because they beat your Giants.
Yeah, and they looked good doing it.
I got the Cardinals.
No way, dude. Geno Smith is
Yeah.
torching right now. DK Metcalf and
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett are a 1-2 punch. Kenneth Walker's a beast.
Yeah,
The
Kenneth Walker's
Seahawks
a beast.
defense is showing out and coming to play. So yeah,
I really think Cards are getting better, and I think they'll win this game.
yeah. I
Um.
think having D Hop back definitely helps them out, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's gonna matter against a just an all around team that's just playing out of their mind right now.
Well, we're gonna take two shit teams that have been playing terrible. Best teams in the NFC last year. Bucks and Rams.
Yeah. Cooper Cup's down. I'm assuming, even if he's healthy, I'm taking the Bucks.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Tom Brady's got to bounce back eventually. I mean, his mind may not be clear right now with everything going on, but I think he'll bounce back eventually.
Yeah, I don't think it's any doubt that the Bucks are the better team on paper even. The Rams have no run game, zero. They look bad right now. So, yeah, give me the Bucks and give me the spread on the Bucks at 3 points cuz it's going to be a wide margin.
Yeah. And after that game,
Sunday
I've got
night football, Titans and the Chiefs,
yes.
both 5 and 2.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care what the Titans' record is.
Yeah, the Chiefs are 12 and a half point favorites to win that
Yeah.
ball game. I think we are both going to go with the Chiefs. Tell me if I'm
Yeah,
wrong
yeah,
there.
yeah. It's got to be the Chiefs. Titans are not good enough to beat the Chiefs. Come out and 30-7.
Yeah, at 30 is even lowballing it. If it looks like they have Kadarius Tony returning punts. So if he's returning punts first week out, I mean, we'll see what happens. Even
Well,
if he gets a little bit of a
sadly,
slot action, he's been there for 2 weeks now. I think he gets in the ball game.
yeah, sadly, Kadarius Tony is healthy, 100% healthy. I don't know what the heck's going on.
Oh, I knew what was
Giants and
going on.
Kadarius Tony.
He
He does
didn't want to
not want to
play, and
play.
he didn't
Yeah,
want to play, and that's all right. I wanted him gone. I was never a big fan of him as a Giants fan. I was never like, wow, Kadarius Tony. Like, yeah, you were more hyped about him than I was.
well, I wasn't at first when they took him with the first round pick and nobody knew who the heck he was. That's what was kind of crazy.
Yeah, we took him
Um,
at 20th overall. I was more
yeah,
happy that we got 2 picks in the top 5 last year out of that than not in the top 5 in the top 10. But
yeah. Then Monday night game, Ravens and Saints.
it's hard to take. Oh man, I have the Ravens written down. But the Saints are looking really good right now, so it's hard to take the Saints, but I'm going to go ahead and stick with my gut and go Ravens.
I am also going Ravens. I just the Ravens are too good of a team to beat right now. Even though
Giants
they
beat
about
them.
blow every game they play.
Yeah, I mean, fourth quarter Ravens defense. We said it last week. We said it the week before. They're bad. They almost let the Bucks sneak back into that game last week on Thursday night. So
Yeah.
you just never really know with this Ravens team. But that offense it's not one to scoff at. They're gonna win ball games.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's all I got.
We can throw in a little sneak, little twist here. What do we think about the World Series so far? You been watching any?
I don't watch a lick of baseball, buddy.
I like to watch a little bit of baseball here and there. I'm gonna give you my take. I like the Phillies winning the World Series here. Bryce Harper is just an absolute freak. Yeah, there's just no way. 5 home runs last night, most home runs in a World Series game by any team. So it's a hot team. It's gonna stay hot. So yeah, Phillies baseball. Fuck the Astros. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys.
Sweet. All right.
Yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you like the podcast, make sure to drop a like. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys next week.